Hello and welcome to Exploited Crimes and Technology. My name is Opal Singleton and we come to you every Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock right here on AM 590, The Answer. Well, there is a lot going on in the world of human trafficking and sextortion and social media exploitation this week. And it is just a part of me is like over the moon, so excited, don't know even how to express it. This is the culmination of a long, long journey. For those of you that don't normally follow this show is brought to you by Million Kids, Million, Million Kids. That's because more than 1 million kids have been trafficked around the world, human trafficked. And this show is all about prevention and intervention. You see, I'm a person that believes that human trafficking does not have to happen. It doesn't have to be hyped. We don't have to march up and down the street. I honestly don't believe that there is a human trafficking activity taking place behind every bush. I don't. There has been a lot of talk about human trafficking, especially because of the Super Bowl tomorrow. Finally, tomorrow, the Super Bowl will be on. So I want to clarify some things, and I also want to share with you something that is just so totally exciting, I can hardly handle it. So Million Kids has been in business since about 2008. And for the last 11 years, we have served as the training and outreach coordinator for the Riverside County Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force. Now, that's a task force, an amazing group of men and women. I just cannot tell you how proud I am to serve with them and how lucky Riverside County is to have an amazing sheriff and an amazing district attorney. Now, I'm going to tell you that because I work with them, but I don't get paid by them, so they don't know I'm saying this. It isn't like I'm trying to butter everybody up. No, I'm an independent nonprofit 501c3 corporation that has been combating this in the Inland Empire and quite frankly across the United States for a very, very long time. I literally have been post-certified, meaning Peace Officer Standardized Training certified. So I also train out other organizations across the nation. That gives me a chance to compare what is happening in our community versus other communities. And I can tell you that I believe that we are very fortunate. Now, I don't want to neglect San Bernardino County, okay? This show goes out to all of them. And you have some very, very fine folks over there in the name of the prosecutor and the name of the sheriff over there also. I just don't happen to work with them quite as much as I work with the Riverside County Task Force. However, one of your groups over in San Bernardino County is out of Fontana Police Department, and I am a major fan of them. So we have some incredible resources here in the Inland Empire. For instance, when everybody else was, cutting back their police departments and refusing to go out and investigate the tough cases because there's just kind of a trend to kind of decriminalize criminality in the state of California. But you don't find that so much in our county. When all of that was other counties are pulling back and not prosecuting, our sheriff, Sheriff Chad Bianco, doubled down and doubled the size of the Human Trafficking Task Force right here in Riverside County. Now, I'm going to tell you, that wasn't for fun. We need it. It's serious. This county is 7,500 square miles, and there are many different types of criminality taking place across our county. And so he built a second task force out in the desert, led by Sergeant Tiarina out there, speaks Spanish, born in the community, building a team of people that understand the community, that relate to the community, that fit in, and can understand when someone out that area is being exploited. The same way with what we call RCAT. This stands for Riverside County Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force. That's a big word. So we call it RCAT, unless you're dyslexic, and then you can call it Ratchet. Anyway, RCAT is both in the east and the west part of our county. The west part is led by Sergeant Robert Menchaca. Excellent individuals, and they all report to the sheriff and up through the ranks of the lieutenant and undersheriff and like that. And they all work together. They just received a proclamation from the Riverside County Board of Supervisors. I got to come down and participate with them. That was really fun to do that, and to be recognized by the leaders of our county that understand that we must not allow this crime to take place on our soil. This is not a small thing. These crimes are very sophisticated. So what is human trafficking? And I'm going to talk about the difference between human trafficking and sextortion, because I want to talk about a case that was just announced this week, actually yesterday. Fontana man is sentenced to more than 11 years in prison for sex trafficking underage girl he met on the internet. So I want to just go right into that case, and I'm going to back up a little bit because I want to talk about the movie that's about to be released. I can hardly hold myself back from talking about it, but we need to understand why that movie is so important. I've been working on that movie since 2016, and many of you came alongside me and made it happen. So let's talk about this case. Your Fontana Police Department's involved in this. They are specialists in something called ICAC, Internet Crimes Against Children. ICAC, ICAC. And they are some incredible specialists over there in Fontana at the Fontana Police Department, led by Chief Green and Corporal Brad over there. Won't give his last name. And their dog is named Goose. We have a dog named Chewy. The reason they have these dogs is they sniff out electronic devices like, hot phones that go in the jails, and like pedophiles will use thumb drives and hide photos of our kids that they met online and like that. So that's why we're so organized to go after it. It is mostly our kids' lives that are at stake. One of the work of Million Kids, we literally have trained more than 500,000 people now, and a lot of them are kids. We want our kids to understand why you never send a naked photo to anybody, not even your very close friend that you know in person, and put that online, because anytime you put a naked photo online, you have just put yourself in a blackmail prison. That means that at any given time, that photo can be intercepted, or it can be literally your child can be groomed and seduced into what they think is a wonderful relationship. And then the blackmail begins. And it takes different forms. And this is the reason why we want to talk about the case that took place out of Fontana, because this is important that we make these cases known to our children. Now, the defendant in this case is 42-year-old Jason D. Taylor. And he was just sentenced to 11 years in prison for sex trafficking an underage girl he met online. He was also ordered to pay about $3,500 in restitution to that victim. So I want to really get into the heart and soul of the matter. In this case, the victim participated willingly, and we'll begin to talk about why that is so important. Because even though the victim participated willingly, she is underage, and she ended up being paid for commercial sex. And that is against the law. California has a law that says anytime a minor is engaging in commercial sex, even if they're there willingly, commercial sex is called prostitution, where you get paid for providing sexual services. Anytime a minor in the state of California is engaged in commercial sex, receiving compensation for sexual services, it is the crime of sex trafficking. Even if the victim is there willingly, which appears to be the case. In this case, the victim is 16 years old, but the perpetrator is an adult, and they are held to a different standard. You can pretend, oh, officer, she told me that she was 19, and look at her, she looks 19. She couldn't possibly be 13. I'm going to tell you that's not going to sell, folks. You're having sex with a minor, and if you are paying money for that, you are going to pay a very big price. And that is exactly what happened in this case, as he received a very long sentence. My name is Opal Singleton. The organization is Million Kids. We have a lot more to come, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
Listen up, folks. You no longer have to drive out of the IE for a great restaurant experience. The Toasted Barrel, an upscale casual steakhouse located in Corona, has been winning award after award for their great diverse menu, service, ambience, wine, and cocktails. Customers call the Barrel the perfect date night. Inland Empire Magazine has awarded them Best Restaurant 4 years in a row. Wine Spectator recognized the Toasted Barrel's wine program for their award of excellence. Toasted Barrel is famous for their certified Angus beef, prime, Wagyu, and Kobe steaks, and they have some of the best pasta and seafood around. With happy hour and daily specials every day of the week, their appetizers and drink selections are the best around. Live music starts every Friday and Saturday at 5:30. Planning a dinner party, wedding rehearsal, family gathering, or holiday party? Look up Toasted Barrel online and make your reservation today.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. I want to tell you about a book I wrote called Seduced: The Grooming of America's Teenagers. It's all about how predators access, groom, recruit, and exploit our young people using social media, online gaming, video chat rooms. Technology is changing at the speed of light, and we have to understand how to keep our kids safe from predators. So you can get this book by going to www.millionkids.org. It's $16. I'll sign it, and I'll ship it to you personally. We hope that you will order this book, educate yourself about how to keep our kids safe in this day of changing technology. Join us each Saturday for our radio show at Exploited Crimes and Technology at 3 o'clock on AM 590. The Answer.
Real estate sales in the Inland Empire are really hot. Sellers and buyers recognize that these low interest rates will not last. Sean and Colleen at Caldwell Banker Armstrong Properties in Riverside are proud to sponsor this show. They are the best in the Inland Empire. They're fair, honest, creative, and they care about you and your situation. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Sean and Colleen at 951-529-4066.
AM 590. The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and we are talking about the latest case that just came out today. The headline on it, it's out of Fontana. The headline on it is Fontana man is sentenced to more than 11 years in prison for sex trafficking underage girl he met on the internet. So let's talk about the details of this particular case. So this is a federal case. That's important to understand why in these cases, this may have taken place a year or two ago. It takes a while to get a case through a federal court. But usually, if you can get that case through a federal court, you can actually get a longer sentence. And that probably took place in this case. So a federal jury found Taylor guilty of one count of sex trafficking of a minor and one count of enticement of a minor to engage in criminal sexual activity. This, you're going to find out very quickly. He met her online. He groomed her. He picked her up. He met her, and then he took her up away from her area and paid her for sex, which she willingly accepted. Except the problem is she's a minor. So many predators don't realize that sex with a minor, regardless of what they're telling you about their age, will carry a very long sentence, in this case, 11 years in prison. So as they began to look at the evidence for the trial, what had happened is that Taylor contacted the victim on a public website. Now, there is an important piece of information for parents in what I'm about to tell you here. They exchange messages through that website messenger feature and then switch to communicating via Instagram Messenger using cross-platform messaging. So what on earth have I just said? Well, this is exactly how pedophiles operate, and you need to teach this to your children. That's exactly what I do when I go into schools and train. The first thing that will happen if you're meeting up with a pedophile or a predator online is whatever app you meet on, they will almost immediately move you to another app. Now, they're not giving the name of this app in this particular case. It sounds like Facebook Messenger to me because they went from the website's Messenger feature and then went over to the Instagram. That is exactly how it happens. Why is that so important? Because this generation of young people will make their relationships online. Many of you know about my book, Societal Shift, A World Without Borders, A Home Without Walls. And literally this year, it was supposed to be a couple of weeks ago, and they stopped it when 5G will be connected all over the world. For whatever reason, the U.S. seemed to be behind everybody else because we hadn't prepared for 5G to be near the airports and the airport software systems. So we had to delay the turning on of this. But what I want you to understand is your children will no longer be in that social media world that you and I grew up in. I mean, some of you are old enough to remember MySpace, okay? I don't even know if that's still around anymore. And some of you are still on Facebook. And in Facebook, you can pick and choose your users, and you can block them and unblock them. By the way, so can Facebook. It's really, really scary to me, the role that social media, I'm off on a tangent here, forgive me, but I have to say this. You know, so many people, including yours truly, have been taken off of Facebook for absolutely no legitimate reason. In my case, they disagree with my political point of view on Proposition 20 a year and a half ago, and they took me off, and we're rebuilding. I'd encourage you, if you use Facebook, to add a million kids to that. But we have also started, and they took off. We lost thousands and thousands of users. And I'm on a tangent, so bear with me. But we are rebuilding that. But what we did is we took our training in-house. So one of these social media companies can never again do that to us if they don't agree with something that we're trying to say. And so this is absolutely devastating for a corporation. Did you see that up in Canada where all those truckers are protesting and GoFundMe decided to take them to reroute that money? Now they're backing out because they're losing all kinds of credibility. Who's ever going to use GoFundMe if GoFundMe can intervene with a cause and take what they want? But this is happening all over with Facebook, with Instagram, and like that. Now, I'm going to get back to my story here because otherwise get myself all in a knot and carrying on here. For what it's worth, we have rebuilt, but please go to millionkids.org, MILLION, millionkids.org, and sign up for Insider Alerts. You will get all the training that you normally would get on a Facebook account, only you're going to get it inside as we blast out these cases. From time to time, we give priority to the local case. So what I want you to see here is typical of a pedophile. They met on Messenger and they switched over to Instagram. The reason they do that is they want to make sure that you are not a cop, not law enforcement. So that's the first thing. And so they'll switch you over to see if you will continue on in that relationship. And also, they're doing it to see if you're what we call available and vulnerable. In other words, these guys are working a numbers game. They will go into certain categories of TikTok, and they start sending out those messages to everyone who posts a video. Wow, baby, you're hot. Meet me on Instagram. Get that? They're going, taking them from TikTok to Instagram. Send me a lot more of those photos. Hey, make them better photos, and I'll make you famous. And that's the first sign when you're talking to someone you don't know. And this is what's about to happen in our society. This is why this work is so important. is because our kids are literally going to have millions of followers. And maybe by May of this year, who knows, it is expanding like crazy. They no longer have 30 or 40 people they know. They literally will have millions of people that can access them. Think about an app like TikTok. You send out that video and then they can text right back to your child. So it's mass audience, meaning reaching millions of people, live streaming, sending the photo, and it's two-way communication because it is connected back to your mobile phone. That means that pimps, predators, pedophiles, gangs, cartels, and organized crime can reach your child at any given moment. So before you put your child online, you better learn to bulletproof your child. If your child is, and by the way, they're not going to be able to live offline. We have to prepare these kids to live in a world of technology. And we got to buckle down and do that, which is the work of a million kids. I always say technology isn't good or bad. It's like a car. You can take it off to a university and get a degree, or you can take it to a strip club and get yourself in trouble. It's not the car. It is the driver of the car. And that is no different in social media. So looking back at our case now, right out of Fontana here, the first thing they did with her is he contacted her, he met her on Messenger, he switched her over to Instagram, and they began to communicate. She initially represented that she was 19 years old, so she's being dishonest on there also. The victim told Taylor almost immediately that she was really only 16. Even though she's still lying because she's really 15 at the time. Taylor wrote back, "I'll be honest, I like your age. It's kind of hot." So she is representing herself as a 19-year-old. She's on there looking for trouble, quite frankly, and she's finding it very quickly. And this will end up changing this man's life. So twice in April of 2020, he picked her up in the Inland Empire, and he drove her to Santa Barbara County. And he rented a hotel, and they had sex. And at the end of it, he gave her $600. I don't know if she asked for it or he chose that number. We don't know how that transaction actually took place. But here's what we do know. Anytime a minor is engaged in commercial sex, taking money for a sexual act, in the state of California, it is always a case of human trafficking. That is called CSEC, commercial sexual exploitation of children. She may have gone willingly. She may have accepted the money willingly, but he knew he was paying for sex with a young lady who is only 15 years old. And that is called pedophilia. And he is going to pay a high price, including 11 years in prison. It is a federal case and a federal sentence. Thank God, not a local sentence. So this is exactly how it works. My name is Opal Singleton. We're going to go deep into this in the next section, so stay with me and we'll be right back.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the dark net will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift, Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton. And I was talking to my producer at the break, and he was saying, I wonder why a kid would do that. And I'm saying you have no idea how much this happens and how often it happens and how it changes a child's life for the rest of their life. We had a couple of stories. I'm going to come back to this story in a minute, but he got me to thinking that you may not really live in my world, so you probably don't understand just how often this happens. For instance, one of the cases that I've often talked about in the past is Pornhub. Pornhub was, until the first of 2020, the largest porn site in the world. Or was it 21? I can't remember. But anyway, the largest porn site in the world. And their number one category turned out to be amateur pornography. And I'm saying to myself, what the heck? What is going on here? Is this, lonely housewives? Or is this, young guys thinking they want to do amateur pornography and become famous? Or they want to advertise? Who's doing this? Well, it turns out because the laws have changed, that if you have been posted on one of their sites and get exploited, that you can sue. And so what had happened is Pornhub actually had $500 million worth in lawsuits going against them. And most of it was child pornography charges. These were teenagers who were told that if they sent in their photo, they could make some money, but they wouldn't really be circulated out on the Pornhub site. What in the heck are these people thinking? Where do they this is the reason why we made this movie, by the way. I want kids to know where naked photos go when you hit send and why you don't want to. And so before it was over, they had to take down almost 10 million videos that our kids, many of them, our kids sent in thinking they're going to make money. I actually have a copy of a slide from their site where it said make $40,000 a week. And it gives you like 18 steps on how to take the movie, how to download it, where to send it, how to edit it, the whole thing to make $40,000 a week. So why would a teenager do that? Because they are naive, uninformed, and they are stupid. I'm sorry. I try to hold myself back here. Sorry. Anyway, but they are really naive. So I'm really all over the map today, but let me take a minute here and share with you. We get these cases all the time, just like this girl here. She meets up with him. She lies to him. She lies to him some more. Then she meets up with him. She is willing in the relationship. I don't know who determined the $600, whether she did or he did, but many kids see this as, hey, I'm hot. It's a way to make extra money. It's only sex. Why am I giving it away? And like that, except that puts them on the trajectory for going in and becoming basically formal prostitution or webcam sex, where they end up getting violated in a big way. So I'm going to just take a minute. I'm going to come back to this story in a minute, but let me tell you about this movie. And so because I'm just over the moon. So this week, it's being announced. This show is pre-recorded, so I know that it will be announced before this show plays because I've got the press release schedule. But so many exciting things are happening on a movie that many of you who are listening helped us make. And I just tickled over the moon. I don't know how any else to say it. I can hardly wait for these events. What happened is long about 2016, I began to see all of these sextortion cases. Young kids sending videos sneaking out, meeting up with them, getting violated, in this case, another one like that, or sending a photo to someone they think is going to care about them. And then that photo goes out to a child pornography ring. In one case, those rings have more than 1 million paid subscribers. And so one photo of a child can go into that million paid group and be seen by 1 million people immediately and then retransmitted forever and ever. And it will change their life. They cannot get it back. They're out on the internet. They start getting blackmailed. People want more photos. I've known families who've had to move because in some cases photos have GPS on them. And it just, I know kids who can't get into college because their naked photos are all out there. It changes everybody's life. And that started for me in 2016. And every time I would sit with a parent, I'd say, this does not have to happen. If kids understand, what I've learned from training 500,000 people are that kids don't want to be violated. They just don't understand how that seduction, grooming process works. And they're hormonal. And they're hot looking. They're looking better than they'll ever look again in their lives. Those of us who are older know that. They look fantastic and they want to flaunt it, and they are easy prey. And they send that out there. So I started raising money over time to try to do a movie that I wanted. I really was just hoping for a 45-minute documentary and get it in every school in America so that kids understand where their naked photo goes when they hit send. Well, a group called Giving University came alongside of us, and they have been amazing. They did a contract. I did a separate contract, and we contracted with a producer back east out of Virginia who made an incredible movie. Husband-wife team, Stephen and Maria Peak. And just amazing. One of the top documentary producers on Netflix. And I've seen this. It's an action film. It's completed. It's in the can. The PR is being put together. We're still raising money to do all the support pieces that we have. But amazing enough, this was filmed inside of Homeland Security. And with that film, what they did is that Homeland Security has the Blue Campaign to combat trafficking and social media exploitation. The Blue Campaign goes out into schools, and our movie will be part of that Blue Campaign. Same way with National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. That is John Walsh, America's Most Wanted, and they are in the movie. And yeah, I'm in the movie a little, but you don't want to see me, trust me. I always say, why did God wait till I'm old, fat, and ugly to do this deal? Anyway, that isn't the point. NCMEC, this National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, also has a school contract through NetSmart. And because of that, this movie and my dream of having this film will release. It will be announced. It won't be released this week, but it will be announced. It'll be released the first week of March. And there's just so much more good to come. It would take me, 3 hours to tell you all the ways that God is using this film already. This isn't about Opal Singleton and Million Kids. This is about never again should another child be violated because their hormones put them into a bad decision that changed their life forever. By the way, it affects parents too. And that's the other reason I did this. This movie is a full-length feature film, and it will be shown. We're negotiating with streamers right now. It will be shown. We don't know which streamers because we're negotiating and we're still in the press release stage. But this is set to change the world of sextortion. I want to bulletproof our kids. I want this thing so real that they look at this and go, no way, baby. I'm not sending you a picture of my private parts under any circumstances. And I'm not going out and meeting up with you and not telling my folks and disappearing and watching as everybody's looking for me. We just had a case like that out of Utah about 2 weeks ago. A college student walked right out to meet up with a guy she met online, just wanted to see what he was like. And she was gone for 3 weeks. And finally, they found her. She was handcuffed in a freezer, in a cooler in the basement out in a rural town. A lot of people think this can't happen to you if you live in a small town. I don't understand where that thinking comes from. Small towns have internet and they meet online. That's what I mean by a world without borders. It doesn't matter how old you are, what you look like, or where you live. If you take chances on the internet, you are going to pay a price. And it's a price that will change your life and the life of your whole family for a long, long time. So please go to millionkids.org, sign up for insider alerts, watch for the release of this film, Sextortion, The Hidden Pandemic, and stay with us as we begin to promote it and get it out there. So we have one more segment left. If you'll stay with us, I'll close out about our case with James D. Taylor. So thank you. Take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Custom Service Systems, a proud supporter of Million Kids, is a family-owned and operated commercial cleaning company servicing the Inland Empire and surrounding areas since 1974. CSS takes pride in their ability to maintain the business facilities they serve and their long-lasting relationships with their valued clients. CSS provides a variety of cleaning systems customized to client needs, including deep cleaning and disinfectant to be COVID-19 compliant. From basic office cleaning to windows and floors, CSS will clean up your mess so you don't have to stress. Custom Service Systems cares about families and communities and wants to give back. Custom Service Systems are proud supporters of Million Kids to keep kids safe from predators. If you need the best cleaning services for your business or corporation, contact Custom Service Systems at cssclean.com. Again, cssclean.com, or call 951-781-9345. That's 951-781-9345. You will know you found the best. Custom Service Systems.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Let me tell you about my friend Doris Anderson at Remax Realty in Upland. She is amazing. She's kind, she's patient, but she listens. And she's informed, and she will help you with your real estate transaction in a way that works for you. Doris, in full disclosure, often supports the work of Million Kids because she cares about young people. But she knows how to analyze a market, how to market a property, and how to find just the right transaction for both buyers and sellers. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate or invest in income property, contact Doris Anderson at Remax Realty, 951-733-8899. That's 951-733-8899. 951-733-8899.
This message is all about Million Kids, the organization that helps locate missing kids throughout Southern California and educates to keep kids safe from predators. Million Kids educates school administrators, teachers, parents, and teenagers how predators identify a potential victim and the methods they use to recruit innocent kids. BMW of Riverside is a proud supporter of Million Kids. Visit BMW of Riverside at the Adams Street exit off the 91 freeway or click bmwofriverside.com.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Hopeless Singleton. So I want to go back to our Fontana case here. So she's 15. She lies. She says she's 19. Then she comes down to 16, but she's only 15. They're going back and forth. He comes by and gets her twice that we know of. He took her to Santa Barbara to some hotel. They had sex, apparently consensual sex, although that is not legal in the state of California. He gave her $600. So what happened here is at the same month, the victim's family friend, she had borrowed this phone to talk to Taylor. I'm thinking that maybe her parents are good parents and they're checking her phone and she doesn't want to get caught. So she borrows a family friend phone, but that family friend checked her phone. And when they found these messages informing him that they were going to, when they found these messages, first of all, the friend reported to the family. And let's see, when a member of the victim's family sent Taylor a message, so they reported to the victim's family, the friend did, and then the family friend, in my opinion, made a mistake. Because rather than to just sit down and talk with the child and everybody go to law enforcement, the victim's family sent Taylor a message informing him that they were going to report him to law enforcement. You never, never do that, mom and dad, okay? You don't do that for a lot of reasons. One is we don't want to alert the pedophile that we know what is going on. You simply take that phone down to the police department immediately so that they can stand in for your child. When they alerted Taylor, he deleted his Instagram account. And that's not surprising. That happens all the time. But get this, the family friend did it right. In this case, the family friend had taken screenshots of the incriminating communication. And that's what I highly recommend. Don't go on and alert the pedophile, but take screenshots. If you don't know how, Google how to screenshot a phone. So in this case, even though the minor had cooperated, she's still a victim and he is still committing a crime, knowing that he's having sex with an underage minor. So that's how it got to be a sex trafficking case as opposed to just sexual exploitation. He paid money to a minor victim to have sex. And that's one reason why he got 11 years in prison. So the perpetrator knew she was underage, but proceeded to have sex with her anyway, and he paid her. The minor female victim was actively engaged in a relationship with someone she met online. She agreed. She went with him apparently willingly and willingly took the $600. But it does not matter. It is still a case of sex trafficking. And this young girl has been coerced and seduced into having that relationship. So important takeaways from this. A friend of the family's victim, a friend of the victim's family, whose phone she had used to communicate, found that message between Taylor and the victim and told the family, the victim's family. That's a good thing. However, when the victim's family found out, they go on and tell him that they're going to law enforcement, and then he deleted the Instagram. That's not a good thing. However, the family friend had already taken screenshots of the incriminating communication, so that is a good thing because there's something to take to the police department. Now, one of the things I want to share with you is what you do if you think a minor is being exploited by someone they met online. My first advice to you is before you provide a minor with a phone or a tablet, share with them how the internet's made and where naked photos go when they hit send. I believe if your child is too young for the sex talk, they're too young for a phone. Here's the problem with that. Many, many prepubescent kids are now online thanks to COVID and the lockdown. They don't know what adult sex is, therefore they don't know what a pedophile is. And so when somebody wants a picture of their pee-pee, they laugh and giggle and think it's some sort of game because the guy on the other end is a very sophisticated pedophile and knows how to seduce a very young child. So that means that you have prepubescent children who are being violated before they even understand what adult sex is and how it should be a holy and joyous thing if it's done in a situation where you have respect and responsibility where they do not get violated. So everyone I believe, needs to see this movie when it comes out. I know I'm prejudiced because I've spent the last 5 years making this happen, and want to take a second right here and thank each and every one of you in this audience that sent us money and continue to send us money so that we can not only get this thing made, we can get it out around the world. We can create curriculums for schools. We can have websites. We can have education and training programs. We can have premiere showings. We can have all kinds of things to get this message out. Never again should another child be violated. I think you need to explain to your child, especially your teenager, how California law works. That even if they're engaging in it willingly, that adult will receive a very long sentence. And many pedophiles are taking photos provided by the minor, and they are sold and traded online to other pedophiles. They will never be able to get it back. So don't be afraid to check your child's phone or your tablet. It is your phone. You're paying for it. You're the adult who's responsible if your child is bullying or sextorting others. And also, you're making a device available to your child that without proper protection and instruction, they can end up being exploited. Share with a minor about how predators move you from one app to another almost immediately. Share with them. If you don't know this yourself, please sign up for millionkids.org. Our insider alerts, follow our sextortion, understand about the dark web and bulletproof hosting, and how pedophiles now are in the millions, and they are looking for a photo they can get easy and cheap by pretending to be your new best friend. We really got to get everyone up to date if we are going to have our kids have millions of followers. We have to learn to bulletproof our kids. So with that, I want to just take a minute here as we're closing to say how much you all mean to me. You know, I'm just one person with a dream. Every time I take one of those calls, or I hear a kid, or I listen to the pain of a father or a mother as their child's photo is in heavy violation, being drooled over by pedophiles all over the world, I say to myself, this does not have to happen. This crime has reached pandemic proportions. That is why the movie will be called Sextortion, the Hidden Pandemic. We have millions of kids all over the world that are being exploited because they don't understand. That does not have to happen. I'm going to ask you to come along on this journey with us. Help us get this movie out. Help us fund it. If you're willing to help us, please go to millionkids.org, MILLION, kids, KIDS, millionkids.org, not .com, that's a rock band, millionkids.org, hit donate. You can send checks. You can use your credit card. I think you can even text in there, but somebody else handles that for me anyway. But please, anything you can do, write me a note if you're sending a check so that I know who you are and why you want to do this. If it's about your child or your grandchild, or if it's about your adult children raising your grandchildren, we have to stand up against this. It's not going to change. It is part of the evolution of our society. And every day we lose another kid, it is just sad. It does not have to happen. If before we put our kids online, we train them and equip them, they can be the leaders for the next generation of kids. And we have to get this right. I believe we live at the most important time in all of history, and this is the most important mission that we can do of all times, and that is to teach our children to use technology with respect and responsibility. Make them cyber missionaries where they can, raise funds for a well and help go and talk online to the people digging the well. There are many good uses for technologies, and our kids need us to lead them and how to do this right. My name is Opal Singleton. If you want to write to me at Opal, OPAL, at millionkids.org. I do get a lot of emails, so bear with me if I'm a little bit late. But I thank you so much for all your work and your support. We'll see you next Saturday at 3 o'clock on AM 590.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the dark net will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.